Bitcoin is not a hedge to inflation. Bitcoin go up because Bitcoin people buy.
Hello everyone. Today we are joined by Mark Cuban, one of the most popular billionaires. In this video, he will share his thoughts on NFTs and blockchain technology with us, some of which are very controversial to say the least. Without wasting any time, let's jump right in.
I'm a tech guy, so I've been aware of Bitcoin and crypto for a long time. Got my first taste when Coinbase first came out. And, people would send you a little bit of Bitcoin, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, accumulated in my wallet. Never really got excited about it up really until this past year, probably about a year ago when I minted my first NFT. And that's when it really struck me the value of smart contracts. And so from there, being somebody who looks at technology and tries to find new ways to apply it, that's really what got me excited. So, while I'm interested in the value of tokens and currencies, etc. What really gets me excited is, like what Michael was talking about earlier, what you can do with smart contracts in terms of applications, because that's what leads to game changers. And when you get game changers, that's what leads to industries changing how they do business. And when industries change how they do business to integrate smart contracts and other blockchain-based applications, then the world changes.
Mark Cuban says that he prefers altcoins over Bitcoins because projects with integrated smart contracts can revolutionize the entire financial industry. Since Mark is a long-term investor, it's safe to assume he is looking at the next couple of years when he makes this statement.
Right. Again, I'll go back to the early days of the internet when, stocks were just going nuts. You had the speculators that came in, and then you had everybody try to take advantage of that. And then you had the bubble bursting, but there were companies that were solid that as a result went on to become stronger and stronger and stronger. And the same thing will happen in crypto, right? One of my favorite sayings is, first there's the innovators, then there's the imitators, then there's the idiots, right? And so I think right now we're in a cross between the imitator stage with a little, smattering of idiots. But there's still a lot of innovation to be done that will be game changing.
He compares the crypto space to tech company stocks in the 2000s and pointed out that only the ones with the strongest fundamentals shall survive the crash.
You got Ethereum, and as gas fees got bigger and bigger, that limited some of the applications. So you saw, parachains, you saw sidechains, you saw L2s come in, and that allowed more applications. But all these blockchains are in a death war. There's not enough room for all these blockchains. And so they're out there spending a lot of money to get copycat applications to run on each of them, right? So you see DeFi hopping to all these games to get TVL, total value locked, to try to make themselves look big, right? And it's just more gamesmanship than actual utilization.
What this means is that Mark Cuban believes there are only a few projects with original ideas, and the rest are basically cheaper copies of them. So it's up to the investors to find out which ones are worth investing in.
They see the speculation of crypto, but they don't know why they should use it. Yeah. I can use it for DeFi, for personal banking, and there's a lot of great applications there. I can use it for collectibles if I'm into NFTs. I can change my profile pic if I got a Bored Ape or whatever I'm into. But beyond that, that doesn't affect their day-to-day lives or their non-financial business lives or personal lives or business, right? And until whoever gets people to say, okay, I need this for my business. I need to do this in a different way. It could be streaming wages, which is, something that'll happen. It could be, using textbooks, college textbooks as NFTs so that you don't have to buy and resell physical books, right? As we see applications that change the game, that's going to be the gravity, and that's going to get the bigger players to come in and say, okay, I need to own that company, because instead of just having more DeFi, right, more NFTs, we don't need more DeFi.
This is one of the many factors which is preventing mass crypto adoption. Mark Cuban believes that only those projects will be successful which people want to use in their day-to-day lives or for managing their businesses.
I'll go back to the internet. Everybody could put up a website. Everybody could do JavaScript, right? But it's only the companies that did it really, really well, right? And really advanced the ball. You know, Amazon started as a bookstore. No one thinks of them as a bookstore anymore. And the companies that were just bookstores.
He gives us the example of how Amazon started out as an online bookstore, and today, very few people know about it as it has become such a huge company worth hundreds of billions of dollars. In the same way, Mark Cuban is telling us that the successful crypto projects will be like Amazon, who continue to grow and serve more users in every field.
NFTs in terms of collectibles fall into two categories. You're selling them because you want to make some money from it, and that's not a bad thing, you know, but most people are going to fail at that. It's hard to get enough of a market to sell an NFT. And everybody wants to do it because everybody thinks they have some level of talent or some good reason or some justification to say my NFT is great because, and people will buy it for this reason. But it's hard. It's hard, and it's hard to build the community that's going to buy it. It's hard to build the community that's going to sustain it so that there's liquidity there so people can trade it. And people don't recognize how hard that is. So we decided to give them away for free as a reward. And you know, because they're free, everybody thinks, okay, this is great, I love it because it costs me nothing. And oh, by the way, the people who couldn't go to the game because they don't live in Dallas or it was sold out or whatever, if they want one, I can sell it. And so, you know, NFTs have been great, and there'll be just more and more applications for them. But again, to me, it's just a proof of concept for smart contracts.
If you did not know already, Mark Cuban is a huge NFT believer. However, he believes in the utility aspect of NFTs more than the flipping NFTs for a profit aspect. He goes on to make some very controversial statements, so stick around till the end because it's something you don't want to miss out on. Before we continue, make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel.
Just because it's digital doesn't make it any less valuable. And so as people start getting more and more comfortable that digital files, digital video, audio, whatever it may be, text has value and has had value for a long time and will continue to have value, and you can collect that value, you know, the market's going to sustain itself for a long time. Now, what's going to go up and what's going to go down, I have no idea.
As people slowly begin to embrace the value of NFTs, Mark says this will become a huge market that is self-sustainable.
I think, and I've said this before, that I think stablecoin will get regulated, and I think that's a good idea, and I'll tell you why. Because they're called stablecoins. And there's a whole, you know, when you say you're pegged to the dollar, you better live up to it. Otherwise, a lot of people are going to lose a lot of money, and they're going to shut your ass down. And while, you know, the libertarian says, you know, they should have known, you know, do your own DYOR, right? Tough shit. That's just not the way, you know, a country typically works, right? Government doesn't want to see their citizens getting their ass kicked, right? Particularly by foundations that are based overseas.
Cuban comments on the stablecoin problem by saying they should stay pegged to the dollar, otherwise people lose billions of dollars. The US government will definitely take some sort of action against those companies, especially because they are based outside of the US.
There's algorithmic stablecoins, which are even the people who created them and the people who buy them have no clue what's going to happen next, you know? And so just the term stablecoin, and look, I say this, right? It doesn't mean they're going to get regulation right. And that's a big risk. So when you look at the stock market, the SEC's you know, they're fucked up. And so, and the best example of that, so when people talk about stocks being stable versus crypto, right? Just look at the OTC and the bulletin board markets, where you can have bankrupt companies trading billions of shares, and they're bankrupt, and it's okay. You know, you've got just a, you know, they're just now trying to change it. So Chinese companies who won't even let you, they won't even let you audit their books, right, can be on our exchanges. That's crazy. And I've been saying that for years. I produced a movie called The China Hustle about reverse mergers with Chinese companies that don't open up their books and ripped off a lot of people. And so the concept that stocks as a whole are safer than crypto is ridiculous, right? Because there's just as many companies that aren't even real companies that are on the OTC and bulletin board exchanges that are under the purview of the SEC as there are crypto companies that are ridiculous.
According to Mark, the idea of algorithmic stablecoins is flawed, as no one knows for sure what's going to happen. He says the SEC is wrong for having a harsh stance on the cryptocurrencies, when there are thousands of fake companies trading on their stock exchanges. Some Chinese companies that are listed have never allowed for their books to be audited, yet they continue to do billions of dollars in trading volume. At least with cryptocurrencies, the transparency is much greater.
From like Coinbase, and I own some shares. I think I own 10,000 shares. So just in disclosure, being the regulated company gives you a great opportunity to deal with funds and investors that that are more comfortable with regulation. And there's a lot of money there.
He reveals that he owns 10,000 shares of Coinbase, which is a fully regulated crypto company. Mark says that there are plenty of high-profile investors who are willing to invest huge sums in projects that are properly regulated, so there is a huge market waiting to be touched.
So Bitcoin, I own a bunch because it's a great store of value. And I think a lot of people are going to switch from gold. Now, do I think El Salvador is going to change it all? No. Do I think it's a hedge to inflation? Hell no. Hell no. Did I say that loud enough? Bitcoin is not a hedge to inflation. Bitcoin go up because Bitcoin people buy, and that's it. Supply and demand is undefeated in crypto and everywhere, and so as long as more people are coming in and buying than selling, and with a finite number of BTC being issued, it can go up. And that's a great store of value.
This is where he gets a bit bold and says that Bitcoin is not a hedge against inflation. Its price only goes up because there are more buyers than sellers. Do you think the eccentric billionaire's statements are justified? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section. See you guys in the next video.